AmmuNity here. Recently I picked up a little-known manga, Monster. That critically acclaimed masterpiece that currently I most definitely cannot do any justice. Well, I'm doing it anyway. Before we get on to anything, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to be updated upon further installments of my reading of Monster and other content such as anime reviews. I'll also be holding polls on the channel or in the Discord server to decide the next manga I read or next anime I review. I've read up to 20 chapters of the manga currently, and all I can say is, wow. That's really the only way I can summarize it. It made post-World War II history interesting. Do you know how hard that is? But anyway, let's get on with my actual thoughts and opinions on Monster, from the chapters I have read through, and go through certain scenes of importance I'd like to discuss. Of course, spoilers ahead, or go and read the 20 chapters and come back. We can go on to this disturbingly wonderful train ride together. Before I continue, any people who wish to spoil in the comments section can go choke on a fat and die. Anyway, let's get started. The beginning. Monster isn't exactly your typical manga, and the way the story is told also intrigues me. As in, the beginning with Monster, I can see how anyone would lose interest to begin with. Nothing really happens in the first 7 chapters, and if the upload schedule for such a series was longer than 2 weeks, I can see how contemporary people would drop it. However, once the deaths of the director and the other corrupt staff occur, that's when the series really gets started, which happens earlier than chapter 7, but that right there was probably the main hook at the start for me. Firstly, Dr. Tenma. His development over these 20 chapters has been absolutely unparalleled. But before all that, obviously we should introduce ourselves to our protagonist, Dr. Tenma. Obviously he is a doctor, a surgeon to be specific, and a natural-born genius at that, capable of performing seemingly impossible operations with his own 2 hands. He sucks up to the director of a hospital as a way of furthering his career, which, fitting his nationality, certainly is a very Japanese way to do it. He even became engaged to his daughter, which seems to be a custom here. However, one time he is asked by the director to save the life of an opera singer. But by doing this, he neglects the treatment needed by a Turkish man who, following his denial to do the treatment, dies. Wherein the wife of said man walks in and cries right there in front of him, wondering why he would willingly ignore the treatment of her husband and allow him to die. The director justifies it as them merely giving priority to a superior, as in wealthy being, which of course causes conflict within Dr. Tenma. One time, however, he ignores the director's orders to work on the president, and instead prioritizes the life of a small boy, Johann Liebert, the synonymous monster. By saving this child, his high-ranking position became forfeit. Even his engaged became someone else's. In his rage and understanding justified anger, he mutters beside the bed of Johann, wishing them all to just die, which Johann accomplishes rather sneakily, poisoning the candy left at the hospital, killing all of the people interfering with Dr. Tenma's life, which makes his life go rather smoothly, till suspicion for the murders is cast upon him, and he must leave, but not before having a single, chilling encounter with Johann, in where Johann makes him question his ideology and decisions, declares his love and kinship to Dr. Tenma, before killing one of his patients right before his eyes, and reveals nothing about himself except a single chilling look of complete normalcy before walking off. This scene is one of the most effective and bone-chilling introductions to a villain I've ever seen. It's hard to describe why it's so effective. It just is. Let's now get into Johann. Johann was a child refugee who crossed the border from Czechoslovakia into Germany, where they collapsed, taken in by an orphanage, Kinderheim 511. where there was a secret social experiment going on to create unfeeling, perfect soldiers, in which everyone but Johann and his sister had died. Following this, he and his sister escaped to someone else's house and live under their roof until... Johann murders his two caretakers, and his sister shoots him in the brain, where Dr. Tenma then saves his life following this. Now, it's a showdown between Dr. Tenma and Johann Liebert, their first objective being the capture of Johann's sister. Johann wishes to kill her, to cut her off, and Dr. Tenma obviously wishing to keep her alive, and she could help him solve the identity of Johann, which is a constant, eluding mystery. Currently, this is unresolved, but I'm going to predict that she ends up dying, as she is just left to go and confront Johann herself. And as she most definitely isn't going to kill him, we've still got 140 chapters to go. Anyway, Monster right now is an absolutely fascinating read. I could livestream reacting to it if that would be something you'd want, and or just record it, but obviously no facecam. It'd be my voice acting over some manga panels and me gushing over it at certain points. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Bye!
Joru no Joban.